We are at Gauteng's home of racing, the Turfentine Racecourse, for the annual Sport Industry Awards, where the best of the best in the sporting business will be celebrated today. So, sitting next to me is Andy Scott. He is a former Paralympian swimmer and world record holder, and of course, Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Andy, it's so good to see you, and also seeing you with such festivities that are going around. I mean, we've known for sporting awards to be about the glitz and glam and celebrating the very best in business. Why do you think these awards are particularly important?
Look, I think it's so important that we all know what sport can do for the nation, and right now this nation needs an uplift more than ever before. We saw what the amazing Springbok team did, and the Proteas and the netball ladies and all this, what sport has contributed. And it's just an amazing environment to be. And I got a call to be here. I'm kind of retired and out of the picture, and suddenly that's what sport is. It's about longevity, it's about what you can contribute, it's what you took out of it, but most importantly, it's what you put back.
I want us to track back a couple of decades to your heydays as a Paralympian swimmer. Maybe just talk to us about some of those highlights, the times then, how exciting, and challenging those times were.
So that goes back a long time. I mean, my first Paralympics were 1968. And then 72, and then unfortunately politics got in the way, but I made a comeback in 80. But the most important part for me was when I took the reins and built up the National Paralympic Committee of South Africa, creating opportunities for athletes with disabilities. And the biggest challenge we had then was to change the mindset of South African people, that these were athletes. These were athletes that deserve recognition, and let's recognize them for their ability and not their disability. And it was about changing mindsets, attracting corporate sponsorship. It was a long, long road. But when I look back now, and we can be very proud of the achievement of those athletes and what the Paralympic team and the administrators at the time, and now it's obviously under the banner of SASCOC, and my involvement did the best I could do. And as I said earlier, I took out with all the stuff that I got out of sport, and it was a great joy to be able to put it back.
I mean, you say it was a long journey. We are talking about you even traversing over 50 countries to make sure that you raise funds. It speaks to not only passion, but putting your mind, down to what really needs to be done.
Yeah, I think when you become a crusader, as it were, and I'd set my mind. And I think the biggest thing, whether you're an administrator, whether you're a sports person or whatever, if you have the dream and you decide to follow it, then you've got to follow it with vigor. And then you've got to put it with your money, with your mouth. And I always remember we were sitting outside the Mandeville Indoor, or the Mandeville, what is now the Mandeville Indoor Centre, on a freezing cold evening, playing basketball in the rain. And I said to the guys, we should build a stadium. And they all kind of poo-pooed that. We had a couple of beers. A day later, I set out about, and you know what, a year later that stadium was under construction. So it can happen. And it's what you put back, and it's been nothing but a joy and a delight. And I'm very privileged.
So when you assess the state of not only Paralympic swimming, but just Paralympics in the country, what are your thoughts? Are you happy with the progress that has been made?
I think the South African Paralympic team has done exceptionally well over the years. Obviously, London was the sort of, or Beijing 2008 was the peak. The standards have risen worldwide. There's a lot of work to be done. And, I've been very privileged to have been at 7 of the last Paralympics. Paris is coming up. There's a lot of work for those athletes to do. But sport for people with disabilities is now sitting on top of the pile. And it's up to those athletes now to come to the fore and prove it and get out there and do it.
And just as a parting shot, what does it mean to you to be honored in such a manner this evening?
I can't even begin to tell you what it means to me. As I said, I thought this was a hoax call. But all I want to do is, if I may, is say thank you to the South African public, to the media, who I had to get all those years ago on side, to those corporate sponsors who believed in me and believed in the movement, believed in the athletes, to the athletes of the past and the athletes of the future. It's been nothing but a privilege to put it all back. The joy and watching TV these days, I don't even know some of those names, but I know that somewhere along the line I played my part and lost, if I just say, to my wonderful wife and my 2 daughters who were behind me the whole way. And without them, this could never have happened. And to the judges who unearthed me, found me, and set me up for this, which has turned out not to be a hoax, and I'm very proud. Thank you.
Definitely not a hoax. Thank you so much. Andy Scott, former Paralympian swimmer, world record holder, and of course a Lifetime Achievement recipient. It is the Sport Industry Awards. The festivities are continuing inside. It started off with a banger in terms of the festivities and the celebrations around the Springboks, our netball team, everyone just being celebrated here, and it is about the best of the business in sport.